Hey, welcome to another episode of Your Faith and Health Community. I'm your host, Pastor Jackie Jackson, and as always, on behalf of myself and our producer, Anita Alexander, we want to thank you very much for taking out time from your day to spend with us. And hopefully, prayerfully, we will give you some information that will improve your quality of life. And yes, I'm going to do it. Have you enrolled in healthcare yet? If you haven't enrolled in healthcare, you need to do it today. Listen, we know open enrollment starts next month. But this way, we sure pray and hope it starts next month. But if you are right now experiencing a life-changing event, you've just recently had a baby, gotten married, you've gotten divorced, moved into the state of Ohio, recently started a new job or just lost a job, and that job provided health insurance. If you are returning home from a correctional institution, all of these things make you eligible for a life-changing event, which means you can enroll in healthcare now. You don't have to wait until open enrollment. If you're single and your income is $16,223 a year or less, that makes you eligible for Medicaid. If you are a family of four, and I use family of four as the basis, but it's adjusted whether you're a family of two, a family of three, a family of 10. But as a family of four, and your income combined or just one income is $44,500 or less, then that means that your family is eligible for Medicaid. So between the marketplace and Medicaid, between life-changing events and with Medicaid, there is no closed enrollment period. So you can enroll in Medicaid year-round. Between all of these different things, there is no reason for you not to have health care. So please, if you won't do it for yourself, do it for the loved ones in your life. I took that from a commercial from way back in the day. I didn't pin that. I just wanted to make sure no one says he stole something, right? But please, get health insurance, all right? I'm done. I'll leave you alone for now. We have a guest, and I'm very excited to have Robin Washington. We have been friends. I think I met Robin back in the 90s. I know I met Robin back in the 90s. Maybe 90, maybe 89, 90. So a while ago, back when we were both just babies in diapers back then, we met, and Robin, you were diagnosed with multiple sclerosis.
Yes.
Back in
1996.
Back in 1996. Mm-hmm. So what is multiple sclerosis?
Multiple sclerosis is an autoimmune disease. More or less, in layman's terms, the body is eating itself or fighting itself. So it attacks your immune system. That's pretty much what MS is, where the body attacks itself.
And so you were diagnosed in 96.
Yes.
And let me see, that's 96, 2006, 16, so 22 years ago.
Yes.
I still use my fingers.
Oh,
right?
that's okay.
Don't have to use the toes today, so I'm good. But, and so in that amount of time, would you mind sharing, maybe even if you don't mind, maybe a progression of what that's like for people who may just now have been diagnosed?
Well, multiple sclerosis, it's like everybody else. It's like fingerprints. Everybody is different. No two people are the same. They may take the same medication, but no two people are the same. For me, it has progressed to debilitating debilitating. It's a debilitating disease, but it has affected my walking. It has progressed in my left leg where I have, again, just trouble walking. And I have to say that I am very blessed because I have seen MS just seriously take people out. And I'm just dealing with my walking, my mobility. So it hasn't taken anything from my cognitive skills, my thinking skills. You know, I'm pretty good. I must say I'm very good. So the progression with me has just been in my walking, and that's it.
And so like you said, it's not something that somebody can look at and say, this is what I'm going to deal with,
yes,
or this is what it's going to be like. Like
yes,
you said, it's different
for everybody who has
for
it.
everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, you're married to my buddy, let me just say his given name because he hates when I say his
I know.
nickname, Binky.
And you just said it. Okay.
To Leon Washington, and you
Yes.
guys have 4
Yes.
children.
Yes.
And so you, even after being diagnosed, because your 2 youngest were, well, actually, everybody was still young.
Well, Lee and Rakia, they were what, 10 and 12 years old when I got diagnosed. Oh, about that age, yes. But Ryan and Reagan were infants when I was diagnosed.
Right.
I had Reagan in June of '96, and I was diagnosed with the MS in October of '96.
And you raised some awesome young people.
Oh, they're all right.
Yeah, okay.
You
they're
know,
all right.
you know.
Yeah, I wanted to say they're all
Oh,
right,
yeah,
but I
you
wanted to go
know,
with the
you know.
awesome.
Yeah,
right?
you know, because that's what uncles do. You know, they speak up for their kids.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. They're an awesome group of kids. But you it hasn't stopped you from
No.
being a wife. It hasn't stopped you
No.
from being a mother. It hasn't stopped you from doing, everything. I had a heart attack. I had a mild light stroke. So, I know that things you have to adjust.
That's
in your
exactly
life.
what it is, just adjusting.
It's making an adjustment.
Making an adjustment. I mean, I still do everything that I want to do, that I need to do. I just had to change the way that I did it.
So so sometimes we think that we lose. And okay, no, let me just be realistic. Sometimes we do lose some things. But sometimes losing things are the things that get us to where God is taking us.
Exactly.
And that's not always good because no one wants to lose. You know me, I don't want to lose nothing.
I know.
But sometimes you have to lose in order for God to elevate you, in order for you to
gain.
get.
Because I mean, I wouldn't even know what multiple sclerosis was if I didn't have multiple sclerosis. I wouldn't want to do some of the things that I've done since the diagnosis if I hadn't been diagnosed. You were a part of the MS walk.
Yes.
And you did it for me. But I would have never even thought about participating in anything like the MS walk if I wasn't a person who had MS. My children have had to tell their friends about MS and just share information with their friends about what MS is. And these young people will grow up, this generation will grow up with an understanding of MS, something that they may not have grown up with an understanding of if my children weren't there to share it with them.
Absolutely.
So
So if they encounter it in their
Exactly.
family,
Exactly.
whether it's a cousin or an aunt, or maybe when they get in that position where they're
Yes.
getting married,
Yes.
and all of a sudden it's there, at least there's been a little information.
Yes. As a matter of fact, to think about it, Reagan, our youngest daughter, she has a friend who was just diagnosed with MS. And her friend didn't know what to do. And so Reagan says, "Mom, can I just tell her to call you?" I said, "I wish you would, so that I can share, because I don't want this child to just freak out and be scared."
Right.
And to just do something to herself that is so preventable that she doesn't have to do, because now she will know somebody who is dealing with the same disease that she's dealing with.
And sometimes knowing, even though you can know something is not limited to one person, but you can still feel alone.
Yes.
And you can feel alone in that, because at the end of the day, it's happening to me.
Right.
And there may be 50 million people with what I have,
But I'm dealing with it.
and
Yes.
I'm alone. But
Yes.
sometimes knowing and having someone that you can talk to, and especially if that someone comes from a trusted source.
Yes.
Because that becomes important, that it's someone that you trust who is connecting you to someone. And in fact, on my way here today, and I was telling someone, and I don't want to say their name because I don't want to put the person that they're talking about out, but I mentioned that you were going to be on the show. And they said, I need to reach out to Binky so that I can have someone connected to them. Maybe Robin would be willing to speak to him.
And you just did it again, don't you?
Did what?
Called him Binky.
No, you did.
No, I'm only repeating what you said.
Yeah, but you said it. So we're
But
both guilty. Now.
Right, but
So
I mean, I'm no
you got to
wife.
go home with him, so you're the one that's going to be in
But
trouble.
I have all the power, so I ain't worried about it.
But that is definitely an important thing, to have a trusted source.
Yes.
And not only that, you are a woman of faith.
Yes.
And you know, when people go, I'm a person of faith, that could actually mean a lot of things, because people have some faith in things that have nothing to do with God. So I'm gonna say, you're a woman of God. I know you. I praise with you. I've gone to church. We've gone to the same church at one point. So I know that your faith in trusting in God, you're leaning on God, especially, you know, because we need Him the most when we're at our lowest or at our worst. And I know that because of your connection with Him, that has been the thing that has brought you through, that has carried you, elevated you when your spirit is down. So you told us what it's like living with multiple sclerosis, but tell about it, living with it as a woman of God, as a woman of faith.
Well, I must say that living with it as a woman of God still is the same. I mean, I still will have pains. I will still have struggles. My leg is still dragging. I'm in a wheelchair today because I just couldn't seem to, I didn't have the oomph to, you know, to just walk with my cane. So it's the same. But the difference is I know that God is, He has me. I can't give up like that, because to give up like that would just be for me to say, oh God, you can't handle this. God, you don't have a clue as to what I'm going through. And I know He has every clue about what I'm going through. And He wants me to trust Him. And I do.
The trust. You know, and the thing is, with it, oftentimes or sometimes when we as people, when we are hit with a disease, when something happens, or maybe it's a car accident,
Right.
in other words, something that takes us away from what we like to consider normal, right? People have a tendency sometimes, not all, but for their faith even, their connection to God sometimes begins to dwindle. You know, I know as Christians we love to recite, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, but sometimes we forget that prospering, no weapon formed against me shall prosper, does not always mean that a disease won't come. It doesn't always mean that you won't have a clogged artery and have a heart attack. It doesn't always mean that you won't be in a car accident. It just means that at the end of the day, whatever the enemy thought was bad, your salvation, right, is secure.
Right.
And the good thing about it, or what we understand, is when that new body comes, then there are no more multiple sclerosis. There are no more heart attacks. There's no more cancer. And that becomes a good thing.
Yes.
And so I'm glad that you mentioned that. As a woman of God, I still hurt. I still have pain. And I think it's important for people to get that, so that if you end up in a situation where you're dealing with that, your faith isn't knocked down.
Right.
You know, because being a pastor, and I've done a number of more funerals than I want to talk about doing, right? And always the question, or in my day job as a community outreach advocate, where we're responding to the homicides and shootings and trying to cancel loved ones who, you know, people have just lost their child or their son or their daughter, that often, not often, but quite a few times I've heard people go, where was God? I thought He was supposed to protect us. And so what you start seeing is the faith weakening. You see in the enemy being able to, or trying to use that situation. So I think you saying that as a woman of God, making that clear, I'm a woman of God, but some days, doggone it, this hurts.
It hurts. It hurts. And I know people have said this before, because I've heard it, but there is no testimony without a test. So, you know, I got to go through what I got to go through. God didn't give me multiple sclerosis. God just allowed it to happen because He's using me to show other people this too shall pass. It may not go away, but Robin, you're going to be okay. So that's just where I am. And I am so very blessed, so very blessed. I have a wonderful husband. I have beautiful children. I have to deal with the multiple sclerosis, but I thank God that I'm covered. I mean, it could be worse. I've seen it worse in other people. It could be far worse, but I'm dealing with it. I'm taking my medication, doing what I have got to do, and, you know, we shall see. But for right now, I'm good.
And, you know, actually, and I guess it's easier for me to say this, but you said we shall see, but for right now, I'm good. I mean, at the end of the day, because your call and election has been sure, right? And you've done it. You've
Right.
already you're His. So all the way until we're in glory, you are okay. And I mean, obviously, once we're in glory, it's a done deal. You're good
Exactly,
forever.
exactly.
But from today, right now, to wherever tomorrow leads to, you're okay. Now, I'm saying that, you know, because, and I have to speak that to myself. You know, at times I have those things, you know, every now and then. The heart attack was in 2006, but every now and then I get the pains or I get
Right.
scares. I've had congestive heart failure over and over, but I just have to keep telling myself
Exactly.
that regardless, you know, and sometimes you go like, I ain't trying to sound brave, but regardless of where it takes me, as long as the end result takes me into glory with my God, I'm going to be good. So therefore, that means that no weapon formed against me shall prosper.
There it is.
It might take away your mobility, but it's not. It won't prosper for our soul. It might take away my ability to eat fried chicken every day. Not that I would do that, but or maybe I would.
Well, you
but
know.
overall, I'm going to be okay. You're a part of a group. It's Life with MS group.
Yes,
What
yes.
is Life with MS?
Life with MS is just a group of people who have multiple sclerosis, and we meet every second Saturday of the month at the College Hill Recreation Center, and we just encourage one another. We don't come in with sad sob stories or anything. We're just there to encourage one another. How was your week? You know, what did your doctor tell you? Have you done anything new? So, you know, we just encourage each other.
How long have you been a part of Life with MS?
I will have to say I've been a part of that group for at least 10 years, at least. So again, we just get together. Everybody has MS, and the facilitator of the group, a lady, Mrs. Carolyn Sherman, she also has MS. She is so very known for saying, we don't tell pity parties in here. So don't come in here with a pity party song or song and dance. We're not crying about it. We're dealing with it. This is our life. We're together on this. Black, white, Asian, whoever, men and women, we just get together and we just have fun and we share our stories. And occasionally there may be a doctor or somebody who is who specializes in MS, who comes and tells us something that, you know, we may not know, but typically we pretty much know everything because a lot of us have been dealing with it for a while. Again, I've been dealing with it for over 20 years, so.
So is there like a membership or you need to?
You just show up.
Just show up?
You just show up.
So you don't have to pre-register?
No.
Just come?
You just come.
Come as you are?
Come as you are.
All right.
You know, and hey, we welcome everybody. And sometimes we'll even share our treats with you.
Oh, really? But you didn't bring none today. But
Well,
that's another story.
okay.
We're not going to go back into
Okay.
that. So you said it's at the College Hill Recreation
The College
Center?
Hill Recreation Center.
That's on
Oh,
not Bootno. Is it Boot? It's not Bootno. But it's off of Hamilton.
yes, and
Right
it
there
is.
off of
It is Bootno.
It is Bootno?
Yes.
Ah,
at the
see?
college. You're smarter than you know. You're such
well,
a
you know,
smart
we
man.
do what we can.
You know.
So, Life Without MS.
Or no, Life with MS.
Life with MS.
Yes, because you live a life without MS, but I live a life with MS, and so does everybody else who is a part of
That
that
are
group.
part of the group.
Yes.
So now, and that's kind of leading to my question. Someone that does not have MS, but someone in their family is.
You're still welcome to come.
They're
to our-
welcome to come.
Yes.
Because that's what I wanted to know. Because, you know, a lot
Caretakers,
of times
yes.
we don't know. We don't have information. You know, and I was talking to, on another show, Dr. Keith Melvin.
Yes.
Internal medicine with Mercy Health, and was saying that in a lot of cases we don't know information. We
Right.
don't know. We don't know about it. You hear about it, but it's not directly affecting you. So we have the internet.
Right. Well, you know,
worldwide.
MS was known for a long time as a white woman's disease. So,
Really?
yeah, yes, it was known as a white woman's disease. So, black people who may have had, you know, the stiffness in the legs or whatever, or, their vision was off and, their mobility was off. They didn't think it was multiple sclerosis because Black people didn't get MS, or so they were told. So we've got to share that information.
And to be honest, I had no idea. I had never even heard that before.
Me neither.
So that's pretty interesting. So there was a point where the Black community didn't
know anything
didn't think
about
it. And I'm assuming going to the doctors, they weren't checking you for it, and they definitely weren't diagnosing it.
No.
So, wow.
I know. Isn't that something?
Well, it's like sickle cell. At one point, sickle cell was the Black disease, right?
Right.
And so, Leon, that's really my brother. I've known Leon. Yeah, that's
and the love of my life. Yes.
Okay, he's the love of your life, but he's my brother.
Yes.
But let me see. I've known Leon since '76 when I went to Porter, or maybe it was '75 when I went to Porter, and we were both singers.
Yeah, the
and,
Chow.
Huh? Yeah.
Chow.
No, he was Chow. I wasn't Chow. Chow was that group.
Okay.
I can't remember who I was. Washington House. I can't remember who I. Overstreet and someone else. But we met at Porter Junior High School, and we hit it off, and we've been brothers ever since. I love the cat.
Okay.
A whole bunch, just like grapes.
Okay.
And but you mentioned that, or I was asking of having a family and raising a family, being married with MS. What can you, if you feel like, just kind of talking how that is?
I'm thinking being married with MS. I remember when I got diagnosed, I had to, my doctor told me what it was, and I had to tell my husband. And I didn't tell him right off. I think I waited maybe a week or two, because I was figuring out how I was going to tell him this. And so I go to Leon and I said, listen, my doctor called me and told me what I'm going through is multiple sclerosis. And I'm letting you know right now that I will divorce you right now because you didn't ask for this. I know you didn't ask for this. So I will divorce you right now. I said, and I had it all lined up. I had even divided our kids. I said, okay, you take the two older ones. I'll take the babies because they need me. They're just 1 and 2, so they need me. But you take these older two, and we'll just do it like that. Well, Leon was very offended, and he said, were you listening to what Pastor Dantley, because he was Pastor Dantley. He said, did you hear what Pastor Dantley said when he married us? Were you paying attention? I said, what are you talking about? He said, for richer, for poor, sickness and better word, sickness. He said, you are my wife. You don't have MS. We have MS. So that's how it's been since my diagnosis. I mean, I'm sad to say not every married couple has the same outlook on MS as my husband and I have, but we're sticking through it. We're together with it, and we're just going to do what we need to do. So he's happy, I'm happy, kids are happy, the dog is happy. So everybody's happy.
Prince is happy, huh?
Yeah, Prince is happy. Prince is happy.
So that wow, and you know what? And that's an intimate moment. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us. I will tell you this. Leon has never told me that, but I didn't have to hear that because I hear how he talks about you. We've been around, even when what was a year or so ago, we went down to Nashville and hung out, and even with him pushing you around, because we did a lot of walking.
Yes.
So, not having you walk, but pushing you around, and even you guys rolling away from the rest of us, I guess so you could have your own little private romantic time. But still, I've been around you guys, forever, at your house. I've eaten your food, a whole lot of your food, actually. And so I see the interaction with you, with the kids, and with Leon. And so there are a lot of people that I just wish for them that they could have that relationship, because it's not that he just stands by you and by the vows. You stand by him and by your marriage vows. And that part is awesome. And having someone in your life that will, first of all, it just amazes me that you would say, hey, this is what I've got and I'm willing to let you go. Because what's the old thing saying, if you love someone, set it free?
Yeah, and if they come back to you, you were supposed to be together.
And so you didn't even have to you tried to let it go. And it did not that you wanted to, but I'm saying you were willing to say, listen, you didn't sign up for this, and so it's not fair to you. I'm going to give you your freedom. And I don't know if you held your breath, thinking like, don't say it or whatever. But
honestly, I don't even know why I thought I was bad enough. Or, I don't even know why I said it, because when I think back on it, I was like, what if he had said, I'm out of here?
You're like, all right, good.
So, I mean, I don't know. And I just, at that time, I just said, you didn't sign up for this. And he said, and you did? He
And
said,
that's a good point.
He said, did you ask to have multiple sclerosis? Were you trying to were you trying to pull something over on me or whatever? He was like, you didn't ask for this. And it is what it is. So.
But it's awesome. And we're often looking to God for a sign. We're looking, we even ask God, if this is what it's supposed to be, give me a sign. I think that was that point where God actually showed you that I sent you a husband, and showed him that I sent you a wife.
Well, honestly, I knew that Leon was the one before we even got married, because I think a week before we got married, or maybe, a few days, I was praying and I said, God, is he really the one? Is this who you want me to spend the rest of my life with? You want me to spend the rest of my life with him? And I didn't, I was like, God, I just need to know, because I just really want to know. And God said, if you marry him, if you want to marry him, he's the one. I approve of him for you. I said, okay. And so I knew then that he was the one.
And then God came back and gave you confirmation on, and we're running out of time, but I just want to say this. It's kind of like the story with Solomon, King Solomon, and the issue with the baby, where the two women were saying, this is my baby.
Right.
And his suggestion was, well, we'll just cut the baby in half.
You get half.
Kind of what you were doing.
Right.
We'll cut the baby in half. You take half. You take half. And the true mother said, no.
Let her have him.
Go ahead, And so that's what happened there almost, just kind of use as an analogy.
Right.
So I think it's awesome. I really, really appreciate, you almost made me cry, sis.
Well,
I really appreciate you sharing that story. And more so than for me, but for people who are watching, people who may be taking this walk. And for the man or the woman who may be with the person taking the walk, to hear that you said, for better or worse, rich or poor. So, Robin, thank you very much for coming on. I really, really, really appreciate it from my heart.
Anytime.
Love you. Love Binky, Leon, Binky, and all the family. I love them. So listen, we want to thank you again for spending time with us. On behalf of myself and our producer, Anita Alexander, we thank you. I know you got some information that'll be life-changing. I know you got some information that will improve your quality of life. And if you are diagnosed with multiple sclerosis, you can look for Life with MS. And they, again, she said they meet at the College Hill Recreation Center.
The second
you could probably Google it and go out if you need that support, or just get out and give support. And until the next time we speak, get enrolled in healthcare. Hey, thank you very much for joining. Stay faithful and stay healthy.